All right, everyone. Steve Metrics here of Db8 Sports. Over there with your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are Db8 Sports. We are back. We got
Oh,
2
man.
weeks coming up before football. And pretty crazy stuff coming up, Triggs.
Oh, man. It's breaking up really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold up one sec. Let me see if I can get this working.
Are you up north?
I am. I am north in the bunker, and it's rough.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? This isn't like his normal stream.
Yeah, this is definitely not my normal stream. It's a little rough up here. I'm trying to get the Wi-Fi to work via my smartphone, and that's not being too smart either. So I'm working off of some Wi-Fi here on the 6th floor of a casino, and it's going pretty swell, as you can tell. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm dealing with over here. Trying to get this to work.
Yeah. I didn't know you were up north.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, so taking the show on the road for a weekend. Yeah, getting a little bit of a break. But yeah, it's nice up here, but the Wi-Fi is really really rough. Yeah, that's
It's having too much
coming
fun.
through. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, a lot of fun up here. But yeah, so that is what's going on. Um, hey, Triggs, how you said you had a fantasy football draft with another one of your leagues recently. How did that turn out?
I did. You know what? I just noticed I didn't grab the paperwork. Give me 1 second.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. So yeah, so pretty big week coming up this week. We got our NFL teams cutting their rosters to their 53 man teams. Already had a few interesting transactions take place. We definitely know the Cleveland Browns are going to unload one of their backup quarterbacks. They're going to ride with three because they have Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, but they also have Dorian Robinson, and they also have Tyler Huntley. So they basically have three number two quarterbacks, and two of those three are going to exist on the roster, but one of those three is definitely going to be out there on the open market or get dealt via trade. So that is going to happen before tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to be seeing that happen. On top of that, your team, DJ Triggs, Green Bay Packers added to their roster a player that I think makes a lot of sense in the quarterback room, quarterback Malik Willis. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, we liked him from Tennessee, what, a year or two ago?
We did,
Then he
yeah.
kind of
He
lost
was
his space with
drafted 2 years ago.
Will Levis.
Yep.
Yeah. Because Will Levis last year.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean,
I think he makes
up
a lot
here,
of
the
sense.
quarterbacks. Yeah, the quarterbacks haven't really been working out.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if Sean Clifford, how much his shelf life is on the team, but I would expect it not. I would actually expect him to get cut. To be honest, I think Green Bay is going to rock Jordan Love, the kid they drafted from Tulane, and then Malik Willis, and I think that makes sense. That's a pretty cohesive style. Pretty much all three quarterbacks have similar styles to them. Sean Clifford clearly is the odd man out, and that's how that quarterback room is gonna play out from the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, to get him for a 7th round pick is kind of cool.
Oh, totally.
Definitely
Yeah, that's
better
free.
than Clifford and I think his name was Michael Pratt.
Sure. Yeah. Pratt's pretty good.
No, he was horrible. The last preseason game, he looked okay, and then he threw a bonehead interception at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that can definitely happen, but is he? In my eyes, I think I would definitely kind of have him a step above Malik Willis. But then again, Malik Willis does have actual NFL game experience under his belt, so it definitely helps. Green Bay drafted Pratt in what, round 7? Right?
Oh, I did not hear you there.
Did the Tulane quarterback? He was drafted in round 7.
I think I might have lost you completely.
Was he drafted in round 7?
I think so, because I think
Actually,
Clifford was
hold
a
on
5th round
once.
pick.
Okay.
I did just see 3 minutes ago, Sean Clifford is expected to be waived.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. So, cool. So, how about your fantasy team that you just drafted?
Oh man, so it is a very interesting big money league that I play in each year. A
So,
bunch of wrestling
how about the
people.
fantasy team that you drafted, Triggs?
Oh, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yep. I'm here.
Okay. So it's a money league that I'm in with a bunch of wrestlers and stuff like that. A lot of times I like to make fun of them because I don't have any clue what they're drafting or where it's coming from or who's getting it. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I had pick number 5. Um, so I have it all on paper because they haven't posted it to the site yet.
Okay.
But like it's a really low scoring league. Like you get 2.5 points per 50 rushing yards, 1 point per like 25 receiving yards. It's really big on touchdowns. So you get 6 per touchdown, 4 per passing touchdown, um, like just stuff like that. And then yeah, so I had the number 5 pick overall, and that got me Brees Hall.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Right. Um, and then my 2nd round pick on the way back, this was 12 teams, by the way.
Okay.
I believe it was 12. Um, I got Von A Chain.
Okay. Did you consider the all-in Miami Dolphin strategy?
Uh, we'll get there. We
Okay.
will get there.
Okay.
Oh, let me break it down for you. So it's quarter, running back, running back, receiver, 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 tight end, flex, and then kicker
Okay.
defense.
Yeah, that's kind of like our league.
Um, Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, of course, it has a bench though. Haha. um, but yeah, so third round pick was Debo Samuel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely works
Uh,
out,
fourth,
especially if you're planning on a bench. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, fourth round pick. I got Travis Kelsey.
Wow. That's a steal.
Yeah, and the only reason I actually picked him was because there was a run of tight ends like right in front of me, and I was like, well, I might as well just grab him because he's here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of bizarre.
so then my fifth, right, it was the fifth round pick was another Miami guy and Jalen Waddle.
Yes. There you go.
Oh yeah. Uh, Sixth round, it was a run of quarterbacks. So then I picked Anthony Richardson.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
pretty
to
bananas.
round out my offense and to get my flex, I picked up Xavier Worthy.
Oh, geez. Jeez. Yeah. I mean, I took him pretty early in our league. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, that is way too late for Xavier Worthy. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's a guy that cannot be going in like round 6. I'm not on that offense.
Yeah. And I got him round seven. Yeah. I got him round seven, about what, like pick 80 ish?
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty bizarre.
And so now this is where it gets even more bizarre because I would never do this normally, but I did get Anthony Richardson in the sixth round. So in the eighth round, I got Tua.
Oh my. Wow. So yes, the all-in Dolphins strategy is there.
Yeah,
Now the thing is, with what you have in the
it
running back
is.
core,
Uh,
all right, did you manage to get Raheem Mostert or Jalen Wright?
no, I could possibly go
Oh,
get Jalen Wright still. I'm sure he's
okay.
probably out there.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I think someone might have picked him up.
Uh-oh.
They kind of got picked. I know Mostert got picked pretty early.
Okay. So if that's the case, you might be in a position where
Um,
basically Devon Achane has to go the distance, or if he bites the bullet, then you might have to abandon that run strategy with Miami.
yeah. Um, Round nine, I got Lad McConkey, and 10, I got Jerome Ford.
Okay. Lad McConkey, he is the slot wide receiver from Georgia on the Chargers, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Going to be
he's
a big part of
really
the
good.
offense, is what I hear.
Yeah, I believe at this point he is basically Justin Herbert's number one, and I like him a lot. It's just the
Yeah,
weird situation of Justin Herbert's health. To me, that's playing into this. Like, if Herbert was fully healthy, I had my eyes set on Lad McConkey. He was a guy I planned on drafting for quite a few weeks, to be honest. And I really, really like him. I think he's pretty much the next Julian Edelman, Wes Welker of this generation. I think he's absolutely amazing. I think he's even got a degree of Deontay Johnson in his game with his ability to separate. I think the guy's incredibly special. He might be pretty comparable to like a Rashee Rice kind of player. So I mean, getting Ladd McConkey that late is pretty crazy.
Right. And then Jerome Ford right after him was kind of like a no-brainer to me. I'm like, how is a starting running back for at least 5 weeks going in the 10th round?
Now, at the was that the final round of your draft?
No, not even close. No.
Oh, okay. So were you able to also acquire Nick Chubb?
There were 16 rounds.
Oh,
No,
okay.
because someone picked Nick Chubb in like I want to say like 4th or 5th round, somewhere really, really high.
Ooh, that's a bad idea. Yeah, he shouldn't be going that high.
It really was because I mean technically on draft board, Nick Chubb was like top 30 or something like that in
No,
running
I
backs, I
mean,
should say.
well, yeah, in running back, sure, but when it comes to overall all players, he's the kind of guy that should be going probably in that big of a league, probably round 7, round 8, and yeah, probably more like round 8. And honestly, if we're talking a 10-team league, then we're talking like probably round 10 or 11.
Yeah. But I got Jerome Ford in the 10th. And then it started to get a little like wonky that every like if people were just picking anybody. It was very strange. I
Yeah.
got the Kansas City defense number in the 11th round.
Okay.
And because I was kind of being a jerk to somebody, I got Baltimore defense in the 12th round, which
Oh my
normally I don't
goodness.
pick 2 defenses, but I was like, why not?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild at that point.
And then it was a run of kickers. So I got Cameron Dicker again from the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I know you're high on that, and you're definitely a lot higher on the Chargers than I am. That's man, that is a team I would pretty much
Oh, I'm
avoid all
not.
players. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not
But he
very high
does
on
have
them.
the
No,
accuracy.
I just like literally by this point they were taking defenses and kickers like candy. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh, well, he's right here. I might as well grab him
sure. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
because he's the 12th ranked kicker in fantasy or like on ADP. So I mean, I got him
Sure.
pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Um, and then this is where I think I kind of cleaned up. So I got Malachi Corley and Rashad Bateman, 14th and 15th round.
Okay, Malachi Courtley. Who is that? I have not heard that name before.
He's the rookie for the Jets.
Oh, okay. Is he like is he a slot wide receiver?
I actually don't know. Let me go check.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I want to say that guy's working the slot because they have a guy, I swear his name has an X in it, who's playing outside opposite Garrett Wilson, I want to say. Because at this point, all the ex Green Bay Packers receivers, they're done.
So it's Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams locked on the outside.
That's right.
And Corley was a third round. He was a third round pick. And they got him probably in the slot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's a pretty solid.
His nickname was the Rack King, run after catch king.
Nice.
Yeah. And like I said, Rashad Bateman, I mean, kind of the de facto starter out there.
Where is Bateman now? Is he still in Baltimore?
I thought he was in Baltimore still, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's literally just him and Zay Flowers. So like,
yeah,
I don't really see why he wouldn't be like getting some sort of yardage.
Right. And we'll be talking about this
my
Baltimore Ravens
pick
team later.
Was for you,
that's for sure.
By the way.
Okay. We got
my last pick was for your Raiders, man. I got Alexander Madison.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah,
I mean, it was
really,
the last pick.
Yeah,
I actually think it's solid.
I don't think he's going to do anything.
They got him projected for like 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I'm like, that's good enough for a 16th round pick to me.
But the thing is, I mean, with your team, were you able to handcuff any of your running backs?
No.
Yeah.
No, they were going way too early. Like every single when I looked to go get one of those guys, it just wasn't possible.
Gotcha.
That's why I took the flyer on Jerome Ford.
No, I think the Jerome Ford pick is really, really solid. I think that one's completely overlooked. I mean, I've even been hearing stuff that like Nick Chubb might not even be ready when he's able to come off of the PUP list. And I don't know about you, man, but I remember seeing it live when it happened in that Steelers game last year. I thought that ended his career.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I still stick by that position. I really honestly I do not think he'll actually play again. I think this is more of them kind of hedging their bets. But when it comes to if Nick Chubb is actually going to make it back as a professional athlete in the NFL, I honestly don't see him ever playing another NFL game again. Honestly, I think that is the worst leg injury I think I've ever seen live.
Wow. I did not see it, so I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure too he destroyed everything. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is a destroyed ACL, MCL, and LCL. It is like everything. It's really, really bad. So, and not only that too, that was kind of early in the season as well. I mean, it wasn't super like late or like I just remember it being basically a handful of games into the year, and that game was going, and it was devastating to see him out of that game. You there, Triggs? There you are.
Yep, I'm here.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, I like that, but I mean, I think the thing is too, like when it comes to a league that deep, when you have that much of a bench, if you are drafting running backs, I think you either have to get their handcuffs, or I would just flat out abandon running backs pretty much altogether. Um, I think having a few of them, like the Jerome Fords, definitely Devon A. Chain, that's those guys are really really explosive. I think. Um, but beyond that, a guy like an Alexander Madison, yeah, he matters to the guy that has Zamir White. But if you don't have Zamir White, is he really going to do anything? That I don't see. I think I'd rather be rolling the dice with a wideout, especially slot wide receivers. So if you can get a guy out in your league, I
Oh no,
mean,
I was
I like
maxed.
the oh you couldn't even get any more wide receivers then? Not even for the bench?
Yeah, there's a max.
On wide
Nope, I was
receivers,
maxed out.
that's a bummer.
After the Rashad Bateman.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the maxes are 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends.
It, wow. And you had 6 wide receivers already? So there's already 6 wide receivers on that team?
Yeah, Debo, Jalen Waddle, Xavier Worthy, Lad McConkey, Malachi Corley, and Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, that's a pretty good mix then.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of those guys are playing every week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's about the best mix that I think you can go with that group for sure. And then the only tight end you have is Travis Kelce, correct?
Yep, because you
And you can
technically only have to play one.
right.
Um, so yeah.
Who else in the tight end spectrum is out there in your league? Is there like a Mike Gesicki or like a Ben Sinnott that's out there?
Free agent wise, yeah, Benson not, but and Gasecki. Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I don't
I'd
think
cut
either of those
Madison for
guys are
one
going
of
to get
those.
much time, so it wasn't someone I was looking at. I did think about Jonnu Smith.
Okay, and Janu is in Tennessee, right? Yeah, Janu Smith. He's in Tennessee, correct? Hey, Triggs, are you there? Let me see what's going on here. Um, all right. So yeah. Your boy DJ Triggs is having a little bit of a technical difficulty at the moment. So yeah, so just kind of looking at things with kind of how I like to build teams. Definitely, I would probably want to look at having a little more tight end depth, especially considering they're pretty like when it comes to your teams, especially when you get to goal line. More often than not, they're the ones being targeted. Now, if it's the open space field, your wide receivers, even your running backs, they can even play more of a part in scoring from way outside the red zone. But once you get to that red zone, your tight ends really show up. They really make a difference. If they are run blocking, they can end up doing that for your running backs and making things even better that way, even though they don't score on the fantasy side. And that can happen. And speaking of showing back up and back here on the fantasy side, there he is. That's your boy, DJ
I
Triggs.
have no idea what just happened. So my computer was like, I'm
Hey,
plugged in, but I'm going to
between
try.
that, nice. I mean, hey, between that and me doing this podcast up in the North Woods, it's working swell tonight.
Totally.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a pretty good team there. But I would definitely cut the cord on Madison and go with Mike Gesicki at that point. Joe Burrow is more than likely going to either have Jamar Chase, or even if he does, still losing that open spot from Tyler Boyd last season plays a part into that offense. And I think Gesicki is a really good tight end, and he is definitely going to play a factor in that offense and be a whole lot better than what's his name, who's now on the Carolina Panthers, that former pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you got something there. But for the most part, you got a pretty good team, and especially having a tight end like Travis Kelce holding down the fort. Yeah, that definitely does a lot of damage.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's
you could
the
always go Noah Gray if that's the case too. Like if you need to in a pinch, you could swap out Alexander Madison for literally Noah Gray. In the event that Kelce goes down, you're already covered there as that handcuff.
true. Yeah. I could possibly go in there and get some handcuffs. Um,
Yep.
I don't know. I just kind of was like, might as well find some running back position that I actually like.
Yeah. I think though too, like a lot of these leagues, no matter who the people are that we're chatting with, it's really important to keep tabs on those backups that can bring that role in immediately. Like the rookie running back we're talking about from the Miami Dolphins. Honestly, if anything happens to A Chain or Raheem Mostert, I'm telling you, that is the number one pickup of the entire fantasy football season. I mean, I think he is literally basically, and it's ironic, he's the same team, but he's basically the Devon A Chain of 2024. I think that guy's explosive. His run in the preseason, that touchdown that he had last game looked really, really good. He comes from the running back factory of Texas. I think he's going to play a real instrumental role in that offense, especially when one of those two goes down. And we know the injury history of both those guys, and it's really not good. So I think it is highly likely that one of them goes down. He steps in, and who knows, he might not ever let off the gas pedal after that. And he might be probably the best free agent running back that anyone can acquire for this fantasy season.
Huh. Maybe I'll make a trade.
Uh-huh. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I know you came across some discussion about which quarterbacks are regarded as being elite. and I think I laid this out there about a week ago. I only have four. I only have four quarterbacks that I really think are truly elite. There's a few that are close, I think, and are kind of a step right below. But what was that total number that you came across that was elite?
I saw Dan Orlovsky say he had 9 elite quarterbacks.
No, there's four. There's four. You can maybe make a case for six. There's definitely not 9.
Yeah, it really, really puzzled me when I seen that. Who are your 4 though?
My four are Josh Allen, um, CJ Stroud, and Patrick Mahomes. It's those four.
So it was Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, CJ, and who?
Jordan Love.
Oh, oh, whoa! All right. So
That's it.
yours are definitely
Yep.
different than some of the other people. Like you left one big one off that I couldn't leave off even if I wanted to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I was trying to figure this out, and part of me was like I almost wanted to say like 3.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, do I want to put more in? Because
Yeah.
like
I
perfect
mean,
example, I don't think I don't think Josh Allen's elite. I think he's like great, but I don't think he's elite.
I think he is, for the fact that all of his production, even if it does result in turnovers, his ability to keep the offense driving is pretty powerful, and he can literally put the entire team on his back. And there are quarterbacks that come
See, but
after him that there is one that I see in the next step below that does that, but I don't feel as confident in Dak Prescott as I do Josh Allen. So that's why I have it as that order.
so that's the thing though. Like with Josh Allen, yeah, he turns the ball over a lot. That team didn't start rolling last year until they put the ball in Cook's hands.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
So like that's
Um,
why I don't think he's like elite. I think he's just great. He's just like that
that's fair.
tier below.
Yeah,
I would
it's close.
replace him. I would replace him with the 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson because I mean he's got MVPs on his belt.
He does. However, the second one is not deserving, and he is
That's
pretty
fine.
much, yeah. And to me, like, what showing what he did in the Kansas City game really shows that if you put the team on his back, he cannot do it. And when you put him up
But that,
against greater defenses, he can't do it.
see, but he battles great defenses in his division like every other week. Plus, he has no run game, or he didn't, and he has no elite receivers. And his tight end was hurt last year, and he was still like, I'm going to the AFC Championship game. Like, and he had the best
Oh
record in
yeah.
the league. He had one, like, I can't leave that guy off. That guy is literally dragging that offense by himself.
Yeah, but as a quarterback, when it comes to like throwing the football, which is your job, he is not at the
No,
level of Josh Allen.
I
He's not.
I disagree because the job of the quarterback is to lead an offense and score points. It's not always just to throw the ball.
Yes. However, you have to do that. And
He
you
does.
have to be
He
to the
throws
point
pretty
that
well.
if you do get pressured outside the pocket, he does. And I will say this, when it comes to being a quarterback in the red zone, I think he is the best quarterback in the red zone that I think I have ever seen, and that's for sure. However, when he is outside the red zone and when he gets pushed outside the pocket, something in him, just like Trevor Lawrence, really breaks down a lot. And maybe it is partly because of the targets and partly because of his offensive line. And I would like to see what does it look like when he has a better offensive line, and what does it look like when he has actual like tall people to throw the ball to besides Mark Andrews. So that is totally a legit point, totally a fair point. For that reason, I think we haven't seen enough of that. And I mean, he has not been in the league many years, to be honest. But a lot of the credentials that we see with him is definitely when he has a play that breaks down and he can scramble and make amazing plays with his legs. But when it comes to really putting the team on his back and throwing, I'm still not there yet. When I know Josh Allen can sling it, and I know Josh Allen can run it as well. He's not as shifty as Lamar Jackson, obviously, but he can definitely make plays with his legs just as well. And there's just that firepower that Josh Allen has. I mean, I would almost be content with kind of like what you said, how there's three, and putting both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in that step below, and having it be essentially only Mahomes, Stroud, and I think the newest comer who is really going to open a lot of people's eyes is Jordan Love.
See, and that's kind of what the conversation like turned into, is like, so here I'll give you the nine that he put up. So he had Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and CJ Stroud.
Okay, let's take pretty much, to be honest, the majority of the white guys, and they're not in this. They're not. Like, they're really good. Yeah, like, you're really good. I get it. But Brock Purdy and Aaron Rodgers right now have no business being on that list. And I know Orlovsky loves Matthew Stafford, but he's not there either. Honestly, it's the guys that we've mentioned, along with, honestly, a guy like Dak Prescott, which to me is a lot like a Lamar Jackson, where they're carrying a majority of that offense on their shoulders, to the point that they really don't have the talent around them that they need to really showcase everything that they can. So that's a valid point. But man, like, Burrow's got to show it. He's got to stay healthy. And Rodgers and Purdy, without his elite cast of Avengers and a left tackle, not looking good. And not only that, his completion percentage, when it comes to what all these quarterbacks in the preseason have done thus far, he is ranking like as one of the worst. We're talking like in the triple digits worst, like in the hundreds of quarterbacks that were out there. He is in, like, out of 111, I believe he's like 103 or something like that in terms of completion percentage.
I mean, he was top 4 in completion percentage last season.
Yeah. And he also had Trent Williams.
Not to beat on Josh Allen anymore, but Josh Allen was second worst in the league in interceptions last year, which is why, again, I can't put that guy in the elite category. But like Brock Purdy, sure, I can. He hasn't done it long enough to be elite. CJ Stroud and Jordan Love have done it for one season, so I can't put them at elite, but I can put them in that great category. Yeah, Rodgers and Burrow coming off of injuries, it's kind of like, no. Justin Herbert, I don't think that guy's very good at all. And now he's lost all his weapons: Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Like, who is he going to throw the ball to?
I think they did a complete disservice to Justin Herbert by stripping him of everything, stripping him of his coach, and now giving him a coach that, to be honest, is a coach that's not committed to Justin Herbert. He inherits Justin Herbert, but it's not necessarily his guy, right? So when Harbaugh got to San Francisco, he inherited Alex Smith, but then he acquired through one of the years of drafting Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was his guy. So I just don't see that being the thing that sticks in LA. And not only that, you and I pointed this out. He had the ability to get JJ McCarthy. He could have dealt Herbert to Minnesota, which would have been a lot better for Justin Herbert, to be honest. And then even at that point, Harbaugh would have his guy in JJ McCarthy, who he spoke glowingly about before the actual NFL draft. So none of this really makes sense. And I mean, I like your fantasy team for having Ladd McConkey, to be honest, but I think there is so much turmoil and so much changeover with the Chargers. I think they will clearly be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah. So I guess now that I'm speaking it out loud, maybe I only think Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes are the elite ones. I mean, we're talking all the MVPs.
True. But the thing is, there's definitely something to be said for watching the games and watching Jordan Love late in that season.
Yes.
And even better, like watching CJ Stroud. I'll tell you this straight up. I don't think there's a quarterback in the NFL that is better than CJ Stroud. I watched him play multiple games. There is nobody that can look 15 yards downfield and throw it like it's not even like it's basically 5 yards away. And he did that all the time. I mean, even a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, there still is a little bit of thought and a little bit of planning and figuring out exactly where I got to place my feet and where I got to be. CJ Stroud in year one, I kid you not, was basically like Tom Brady in his prime throwing downfield. Every single play. This guy goes 15 yards downfield every single time he looks downfield with his eyes. The only guy who I can kind of say does that, but I just don't think has the sheer ability to do it, but he's thinking about it and he's looking at it, is Brock Purdy. But I still think there's more weapons and more protection that has to be set up to make that happen. I think he's a few years away, but I think Purdy will be the next guy to get to that level. I just think this season is going to be a humbling experience, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Love and CJ Stroud are great, but just one season though.
That's fair, and I do know that these NFL defensive coordinators they will begin to scheme. They know how to scheme against this, and that is coming. But I'll tell you this: a guy who is not on that list, who is on the list of quarterbacks that people think are really going to explode, and it's a real shame that Dan Orlovsky only goes with again the white quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson is a guy that really has that elite caliber level. But it's the injury history. Like, it's what he's kind of been a little banged up from Florida and then definitely banged up last season with Indianapolis. If he can shed that, if he can truly play every single game this season, or at least a crazy majority of these games, him under Shane Steichen is going to be elite. That's straight up, like, no debate right there. I think Anthony Richardson is clearly one of those guys. I mean, I've seen stuff where Anthony Richardson is regarded as the 5th best quarterback in fantasy, and I've even read Anthony Richardson as regarded as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. So I would put Richardson, honestly, if he can make this happen. Really, the only thing we're talking about is health. Richardson should clearly be in that 2nd or 3rd tier, especially knowing that he has a good receiving cast. He has a great head coach and play caller, and he has a great running back in Jonathan Taylor and a great offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of that. Like my main things about a lot of those young guys is just like you said, defenses start to scheme for you. You snuck on them that 1 year. That's why the sophomore slump is a real deal. But hey,
Yeah.
I did just notice that we're getting close to that hour point. Maybe we should save
Yeah, we are.
our predictions for the divisions next week when we have good signals and
Yes.
everyone can hear us and make
Yeah,
sure we're good. So
I know.
to before we roll out, how do you feel about this 4-year deal for CD Lamb?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, how things stack up, how mathematically everything works with the rest of the upcoming contracts that Dallas has is that's something I don't have as much knowledge about, but I do know it is a pressing matter that is coming into the future. The biggest thing I heard today about that, I heard it in Knox, is that basically they could have ended up paying at the time, they could have ended up paying 30 million per year. Instead, this will cost them an extra 16 million over the lifetime of the contract. But I think I think you heard me say about a month ago, when it comes to all of the wide receivers in the NFL, I regard CeeDee Lamb as the absolute number one. I think he is the highest quality in terms of catch radius plus separation. I truly do think CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the NFL. And on top of that, he carried that entire offense along with Dak Prescott on their shoulders last season. They did a heck of a job. A little bit of Jake Ferguson, maybe a little Brandon Cooks in there. But what CeeDee Lamb showed last season was incredibly impressive. So I give him a lot of credit. There are other receivers who kind of are also in similar situations, like a Garrett Wilson and a George Pickens, to be honest. But seeing what CD did last year, that tells me I think right now he is the best quarterback in the NFL. Makes a lot of sense for him with Dallas. But I also saw a really good point, and Nick Wright pointed this out today. It would have been very interesting if Dallas would have put their foot in the sand and said no, because it would have signaled direction and what their plan of attack is moving forward. All they have shown now is that they are kind of begrudging against any big time player getting paid, and then they cave in, and they really don't show any signal or actual plan of attack moving forward, which is why, and we'll talk about this more next week, which is why I really don't have any high hopes for this team. I do like CeeDee Lamb. I'm glad he got it, but there are a lot of things that I see coming. And again, I still am firm in my situation. I think at any given moment, we're going to hear that Jerry Jones is going to sell the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow, that just went. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
So I know there was that move. Yeah, I know that move was made, but to me, this is a team that has no direction. And then you even have on top of all this, you have the craziness that is kind of looming in the background of potential Deion Sanders and his son coming to the Dallas Cowboys if this really starts to go south. I think that's a whole nother can of worms that would just absolutely just go nuts in not a good way.
So one of the things I've been thinking about, I know you've been pushing the idea of Prescott to Las Vegas. What if Minnesota traded for Russell Wilson?
Minnesota traded for Russell Wilson. Right now they have Sam Darnold. Darnold and Russell Wilson, they do have similar styles. We are going to see we're already seeing some quarterbacks beginning to get shuffled.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. It's so would that involve Sam Darnold going to Pittsburgh?
No, what I'm thinking is, Russell Wilson has that deal where he's basically making nothing. If Pittsburgh wanted to get rid of him,
Right.
because remember, Denver basically paid him to go away, and he's on like a minimum
Yep.
deal. Pittsburgh could just cut him outright, and you know, Minnesota doesn't really have a second quarterback since JJ McCarthy's out for the year.
Right. But then the other part of that too is Pittsburgh has no quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields is not ready.
I
He is
know
just not.
some people like
He
him
is
though.
clearly not ready. True. But I'll give you this too. Like that offensive line has issues as well. They are. I mean, I don't know too if Fields was playing behind a second unit that is just garbage. But to me, there are issues with that offensive line as well, and they need that cohesion. They need to have a quarterback that they're consistent with and are getting acclimated with. Um,
So
I do not think that this team is ready to go with Justin Fields just yet.
Pittsburgh has Justin Fields, Kyle Allen.
Yeah,
Minnesota,
I'll be honest. I have no idea who Kyle Allen is. I know he played a little bit with the Carolina Panthers, but that's about it.
yeah. Basically, that's that's most of it right there.
Yeah. Now there are two other quarterbacks that I think are going to be on the move, and it could happen sooner than we think. One of which is the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks. They essentially are playing with three backup quarterbacks backing up Deshaun Watson. At least one of them has to be on the move because they're not rostering four quarterbacks. So that is one of them. That's either going to be Tyler Huntley or it's going to be Dorian Thompson Robinson. And then the other quarterback who's actually had a great preseason and essentially got flipped for a 6th-round pick that I think can now get flipped for higher, which basically means the team that traded for him is essentially going to just make more equity, is the Jacksonville Jaguars and Mac Jones. He is one that, I mean, if I'm Jacksonville, I keep to ride out the season. But if we are thinking that we kind of have some depth behind him, why not flip him and get something more in return? And Mac Jones he's going to get a second look. I mean, kind of like I kind of look at the Chiefs with Carson Wentz. If Mahomes goes down, I really think Wentz steps in, and I don't think this team misses a beat. I mean, seeing what Wentz did in Washington and Indianapolis shows that, like, yeah, if the NFL had maybe 4 more expansion teams, I think Carson Wentz would be a starter, to be honest. And Mac Jones would probably be a starter as well. And Tyler Huntley would probably be a starter. I think those are legit guys that some of these teams that are questioning who they got at quarterback, I think they're really going to consider. And a team like the Raiders or the Vikings, or honestly, I'll put this out there, the Chargers could definitely go for one of those quarterbacks.
What about Mike White, who got cut by Miami?
That happened?
Yep, he's got some starts under his belt.
Interesting. Yeah. Mike White is a guy that I really like too. For him to get cut by Miami, that's odd, man. I think Mike White's actually pretty good, and Mike did bet on himself by leaving the Jets to go to Miami. So yeah, Mike White is definitely a guy that I'm with you on that. And not only that, I remember with the Jets, he had a big amount of support from players on the Jets who wanted him over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Miami's just got Tua and Skylar Thompson now.
Yeah, and not the greatest.
No.
I really disagree with that move as well.
But hey, that's how they rock.
So Yeah, that's where teams. I think you do have about 4 guys out there who can definitely give starting backs on some of these fringe teams for money, or at least give you actual insurance back.
Yeah, I mean that's all I've got for today at least. How about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. I definitely think next week we sell divisional picks. I think we might have some Super Bowl picks in there as well. And I've kind of hinted a little bit at some of these teams that I like, even from tonight's episode. So yeah, I think we'll breaking down more teams.
Yeah,
Week is the first week leading into the NFL season. So that's what we'll look like. Just putting this out there, Triggs, do we want to actually put the show on Tuesday? Considering next week is Labor Day.
Oh yeah, we probably should do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So yeah, I just want to let know that yeah, we will do that. We will be back on live, but next week is Labor Day. So we will be here 7 o'clock on Tuesday next week. That would be September 3rd, I want to say. So yep, September 3rd. So that's it. You'll see myself, Steve Metrics, along with your boy,
DJ Triggs.
and that's Db8.